Hello everybody and welcome into the last flight of the year. The last flight on the channel. The last flight to celebrate a wonderful year of aviation simulation. Really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed using X-Plane 12. I've been enjoying both the default and some payware aircraft. And in the new year, let's hope that there are new and much more improved aircraft. And look at this, we're out here on the ramp. We're going in the Gulfstream 550, a recent acquisition in the hangar at Grantham CPT Charter. And actually overall a very good plane. I talked about it in my review, but an overall very enjoyable plane. And today we're not going in November 528, whatever it was, Lima Charlie. We're going to go from Salt Lake City in the Gulfstream 550 November 528 Quebec Sierra, which is a NetJets livery. NetJets, of course, is a real-world operator of this plane. And so we're out here on the ramp, and we're going to go ahead and get inside, and then we'll go through the departure, and we'll talk through some of the stuff. I've just had a look at the weather and NOTAMs. Of course, it is dark. By the time we get into Aspen Pitkin Airport, which is pretty challenging approach, it should be daytime, I'm hoping. Or at least getting onto the daytime. But yeah, it's nice to go from Salt Lake. A few new locations today. I've flown to Aspen before, but Salt Lake and the final destination, of course, Santa Fe, are both new. So what I'm going to do is walk around, just do a pre-flight check, which I've kind of already done, but for the sake of realism, we've kept it off the stream to keep it as short as possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove some of these covers, and then of course the chocks have been removed there automatically. Brilliant. I wonder if that removes them from all tyres at once. Can't remember if it does or not. Either way, glorious looking plane. Let's bob round to the front. There's no P2 covers on this one. I'm wondering if I just simply forgot to put it on, or if that's an error. Maybe there should be one on there. Either way, let's get rid of those. And we'll get rid of them on this side. But yeah, I think these two on the outside as well are meant to have them. Not this thing, but the other one is. Chocks are off. There's no other attachment on the wheel I can't see. Oh yes, there is. There's a tag. And for some reason the aviation flashlight is... I put the oxygen mask on, that's why. I was going to say the aviation flashlight wasn't working, but there it is. Tyre condition looks good. Aircraft looks like it's in good condition. Storage wise, we don't know what we got on board yet. So let's hop in. It's good to be back, everybody. Very good to be back. Just give me 1 second to recalibrate my aviation flashlights. For some reason they've been changed. Then again, I have been doing other aircraft. Aviation flashbacks. Good God. Aviation flashlights. We don't any aviation flashbacks on this. So nothing's coming up. Flash. There we go. So usually I have these as some reason that all the controls got messed up. I have no idea why it's done this. I hope I'm not going to have to go back to... Everything else seems good, but yeah, hopefully not go back to the original thing. Anyway, let's get every tab up in our chart. This is the first leg, everybody, and then hopefully the second one will be in daytime, as I say. So, FMS. Scroll right down for this one, and there it is. KSLC to KASE. KASE. Cool, let's just talk through the departure a little bit with you guys, of course. I have talked through with a co-pilot, and we're ready to do this. So today we're expecting 410, flight level 410. This is in fact our aircraft, the Gulfstream 550. November... I don't know if that's... Just give me a sec, everybody. I want to make sure I fired my flight plan under the right name. I have. So 525 Quebec Sierra today, not Lima Charlie. The right date on it, the right time. 5 days to go, everybody. And about a week to the new year. So let's have a look at this. Trip fuel to there is not too bad. And then total fuel, 2,000. So you can actually calculate the hourly fuel use. If you know the aircraft's fuel burn per hour, it would usually have an average. But you can usually calculate it based on weight and other factors. Or you could just probably take an average and use that as the basis for the hourly rate and then calculate it. But of course, SimBrief is meant to do that for you. and in this case it's given us 2100 on that. Anyway, let's get started, guys. I hope I remember the procedures. So let's get the battery on, let's get a few lights on in the cockpit, and of course the Gulfstream 550 legendary complaint system. Try and keep this fairly dim for night time. Don't want to blind ourselves, and maybe the co-pilot as well wants to do the same thing, so we'll do his. That'll be fine. So local time today, 6:45 in the morning. We're expecting sunrise in about, I don't know, 45 minutes. So that gives us plenty of time. This gives us time to set up and things. So here we go. We got APU, GPU available. Don't think we'll go for the GPU today, so it looks like we're going to be using the APU. Do it properly, everybody. So stick the main tanks and the master switch on the APU on. Let's get our systems on while we wait. They go through a series of tests. I don't recommend touching any systems at all when they're on the test. Ready to start. The APU comes alive immediately. Navigation lights. In fact, because we're at night, we're going to use the nav and the logo lights. Look at that. Stunning. There's no mistaking when the APU on this aircraft comes alive, everybody. And the reason this flight is taking place today rather than yesterday is because, like I say, well, I don't know, I wanted to have the last flight of the year on Friday, but things came up and then I had my time wasted in the end, so I probably could have done the last flight yesterday. What else do you do? I'm going to arm these hydraulics early. Cabin stuff can come on. The APU bleed air can come on. So in terms of the overhead panel, that's almost it. We just need to test a few systems. Obviously we test this before you turn it on. You might want to check down here when there's a fire warning. Two of the screens are also blank. Let's hope that this particular livery doesn't have any issues with it. Unlike, you know, the Lima Charlie version's fine, but when you go in different liveries, guys, it can cause issues. I don't know why, but for some reason they can sometimes have variations. So nothing's popping on the screens. A little bit concerning. APU is on. Let's get the APU power on, that might help. There we go. So as they say, jump through the different aircraft, then come back and it does feel slightly foreign to you. Slightly low, not too much. So we've done the test on the fires. Station light is good. Everything is illuminated as expected. A nice landing gear, orange colour there. Really nice and bright. And apparently the developers just released another update, but it only pertains to like printing off of metadata data to your home computer, so it's not really anything important. In fact, it's a quality of life thing which we don't need. It would have been better if putting his time to improving some of these graphical textures and incomplete modelling, which he talks about. But yeah, so weight and balance. This is our flight plan. We don't really have any proper SID stars today. We just have a SID there, the Rudder 3, Delta 3. In terms of weight and balance, we have a 12 packs on board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up, and we're going to do it in this weight and balance fuel payload, and we know how much fuel we need. So we've actually already got about 9,400, which is going to save a lot of time. And of course we need the passengers, so cargo today is 300. Quite a lot of cargo. And 12 people, so we're practically halfway full. We're gonna leave the fuel as it is. I'm actually gonna take a little bit less. I've got way too much fuel. So let's set less on there so it'll take some away. And let's just bring the passengers. for the plane nice and early. Flight plan, so meta, what we want to do is we can actually use SimBrief, so you go across, I've told you this before, you go across to your departure. You better get the QNH and things, so 2997. And in this aircraft you can in fact choose between hectopascals and you know, the other one, which is fantastic. So somewhere on here you will have the option to change it to inches of mercury. Like that's a navigation 1.
Refueling complete, and here is your load sheet papers, sir.
Of course, he's bringing
Have
our
a
load
nice
sheet
flight.
to us. I'm just trying to find this thing for the barometric pressure, but we'll just leave it at. Actually, I don't know why I found this so easy the first time, but then the second, now I'm finding it a little bit overwhelming actually. To I suppose we could just convert
Boarding
it.
completed and main door closed.
Ah, there goes the van, everybody. I don't know if you can see it. Just be aware when you're in habitat, you can't really do much else in the aircraft. So let's get no smoking and seatbelt signs on. I think cabin lights are also on, so cabin lights. Turn on the lights.
Szanowni Państwo,
Welcome on board in
good
English.
morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the captain and the entire crew, welcome aboard AKD Studio Aircraft. We are delighted to have you with us today. Please take a moment to ensure your seatbelt is fastened and make yourself comfortable. If there is anything we can do to make your flight more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to let us know. We expect a smooth and pleasant flight today.
Right, I'm hesitating
again,
because I want to put
thank you for
the
choosing our aircraft.
pressure setting in, but
Sit back,
I don't know what it
relax,
is in
and enjoy your
inches.
flight.
Excuse me, hectopascals. We're the only person out here today as well, so we don't have to be too much in a rush. Right, let's get on with the flight plan, everybody. So, position initialization, we're going to do the IRS. We're going to load up position 3 there, GPS number 1. KSLC to KA. And it is quite a challenging airport, Aspen Pitkin. It's considerably more challenging than most people think. I think people go in there thinking you can just get a steep ascent. It doesn't work like that. You had to go very, very carefully and just plan for that fuel and you know, the other stuff. KSLC. Let's print the meta on there and hopefully we can use our mouse and keyboard now, because every time you go on the other tab it does in fact cause issues. So over here, just printed it off. And of course down here we have the load sheet, so let's see how much fuel he's giving us. I wouldn't go on the trim percentage on here, everybody, it's incorrect. You usually get it off the tablet more correctly. So 12 people. 0 fuel weight actuals 22,928, and we're below our maximum there, below our maximum takeoff weight, and obviously well below the ramp weight as well. Standard weight used for packs is about 60 kg, so quite moderate really, considering this day and age. Anyway, so it's going to be a manual input on the flight plan to show you how it works. If I can remember how it works. So navigation. Departure, we need runway 1 page up that has the flight plan, runway 34, right? And we want the rug 3 delta 3 departure with EKR as the transition, and we're going up to flight level 410, and then from EKR direct to DBL. Let's go ahead and enter this in. DBL US of A, and then direct to KASE Airport. We probably get to choose the arrival procedures when we get there, but the runway is runway 15. In which case we can pre-select that on the Usually we have a runway option. I'm used to getting the runway option. Maybe we could just choose an R now or localize it now, or then change it when we need to. And we won't have any transition, we'll just leave it as is and then check the charts as we get closer. That'll do. And then performance, we want to see this as well. So performance, I think cruise 41,000 is pretty high up actually, and we're just going to leave the speeds and things where they are. So fuel reserve, this is important because you probably want to give the computer the fuel reserve you've actually got on board. In our case, we've got a lot more than we need. So we've got about 4,000 in each tank, and we only planned for 2,000, which means we've got 8,000 on board. So that's like 6,000 reserves in fuel. Let's go for 6,000 rounded up. Take off and landing fuel, so that will be on the trip thing. Take off fuel is there, so 1884, and landing fuel. So in that case, we'll just put 1884. Well, then again, you can't. Transition altitude for this airport. We kind of expect it to be on the departure page, but a lot of the times it won't be. I can't usually find it there. So I haven't been able to anyway, unless I'm missing it. We do have one other aircraft here. What's the transition? So the transition is in fact 18,000. We're still quite high up. We have not too far to taxi to the runway, but Salt Lake is absolutely a huge place. And then of course 41,000 feet. Cargo. We're going to use the load sheet for this one, which doesn't have it. Yes, it's a very odd little thing. We go back to weigh and balance, and you can see the cargo is 300, so very many bags on board. And of course it works there first time. The XQ button is not available on this model, so I'm assuming it's already locked and loaded. Well, I'm excited about this, everybody. I haven't flown this aircraft for a few days. I've had withdrawal, that's because I've been trying out new planes. So amazing though to be able to get this sort of quality nowadays. Right, we're going to close the flight plan. We're going to take note of the QNH again. So 29997, and we have outside air temperature about 6. Cross check that with what we have on the aircraft systems here. So the outside air temperature will appear there somewhere. I can't remember where it is though, to be honest. Flight plans, performance calculating. So read data from sim. So V speeds are 112, so very close. 120, 125. So V2 on the aircraft is a little bit lower than what SimBrief gave us, but that's still pretty good. We're going to send that to FMS, and it probably will tell us to check it if we haven't done. But if you want to find it on this sort of computer system, simply go to flight reference, and you'll have a reference there of 128, which is R. V2 speed is 125. That's coming up with 128, so you might want to change that if you can. We'll leave it as it is, and we'll leave auto speed on, the auto throttle as well. Barometric and radials, radio minimum, so you can change that to whatever you want. We're at 4,000 feet, so we're going to have to take account of the high altitude for our performance, which means we're going to need a lot more thrust. Go ahead and set that for the takeoff minimums. Can't test any of this on the ground, and then test the radio altimeter. TCAS alert system.
TCAS test.
Pretty sure that should say pass on it.
TCAS test pass.
Alright, fantastic. So that's a pass, and then the radio altimeter there, going for its test system as well, and we'll do the stall test when we have the engines running. We're all ready to go, everybody. I think we've done our performance, we've done our flight plan.
Please use caution when approaching.
We're heading fail on the middle here, so sometimes I do have this issue. I think that's to do with realistic alignment time on the IRS. Although, again, it could be specific to this livery where it doesn't work.
Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the buckle into the clasp. This aircraft also features an optional shoulder harness. Communication interference is a common safety concern for the flight crew.
Yeah, I don't know if, because November 45, whatever it is, 528 Lima Charlie's fine, but it's, I had this issue before, but I align them, and then there's no way of getting around it, to be honest. Let's give it a little bit longer, that's why the VNAV won't work, most likely. Unless we've done something wrong in here, so let's go to full performance.
In the unlikely event of cabin depressurization, an oxygen mask will automatically drop into the compartment above
It's
your
not allowing
seat.
us to go into takeoff
Pull the mask
performance.
down to the full length of the tubing and place over your nose and
Oh, we
mouth.
do have fuel
As the
management though.
oxygen will be flowing freely,
Fantastic.
please breathe normally. Smoke hoods are located
Yeah,
under
so you
the
know
seat
something's gone
seats.
wrong when you can't get the performance
Locate and pull
calculations
the
up.
tab to release the smoke hood from under the seat. Should
There's a
smoke
way to
enter
do it,
the
just go into
cabin,
flight plan. I
unzip
think
the
there's a
soft
way to do it
base
here.
bag and remove the filter from the vacuum sealed bag.
Well, there
Pull
should
out
be
the
a
two red rubber filter
takeoff
caps and
calculation
place the
page
hood
after
over
that.
your head. Firmly tighten the
There we go,
headset.
so all the systems have come alive. Let's try and get VNAV up. VNAV still won't work, probably because
Fire
we...
extinguishers, first aid kit.
There we go,
and
it's coming up,
AED
right.
unit
Overreacting.
are located in the front cabin closet.
Oh wow, welcome in Sky
Please
Eagles.
take a moment
Great to
observe
see you
the
again.
emergency window exits on the sides of the
Thank you
cabin,
so much.
which is clearly marked and can be
If
opened
microphone
at any
hadn't broken, I would have
emergency
tried to
exit
follow the
in
flight with you. Oh, brilliant, that would have been fantastic.
in the
I really hope in the future we can have some nice group flights. It'd be good to have our own private server or something. The lady in the back there is giving a safety demonstration. Because we're the pilots, we don't have to be too concerned about that. We just have to be concerned that the aircraft is ready for departure and the cabin is secure. So let's go ahead and get our taxi lights on. And today we're going to be taxiing to runway. And we'll get the charts up on here for the airport. So you can see there the QNH. Again, I've lost my memory in terms of changing it to inches, but I'm sure it'll come back at some point. One thing I did notice in the FMC just a second ago was we didn't get any options to put in the wind for cruise or the wind for... It seems like it's different to the one we had on Lima Charlie. Because usually you'd be able to enter all the information in. Like the wind directions.
Should you have any medical or dental concerns, or have recently been scuba diving, please alert your flight crew. Convenience items are available for your use, including phone access, power outlets, Wi-Fi printer,
Now it can go and take off.
iPad holders, and
Yeah, so no wind options for that one today. Probably do automatically, although wind is 350 at 7 knots. Pretty strong if you think about it. We're at 4,000 feet already. So let's get the chart up here for runway. We have one other plane at the airport at the moment. Let's double check our departures. So what we got, runway 34 right. Oh, hang on, how do I do this? 34 right is right over here. So let's go down Kilo. We'll taxi Kilo and then we'll cross Kilo and then Kilo 1, cross runway 35, continue down Juliet, Mike, holding point probably Mike 1 for runway 34 right. Right everybody, we are literally ready to go. Our seatbelts are on, our hydraulics. We're going to make sure they're pressurised. As you see there, the pressure in the brakes is rising. And then when we turn them off, the system will be pressurised. Okay, brilliant. Flight controls. Looking good. Trim percentage will be on the calculation performance here. Takeoff centre of gravity 35%. Trim 9.3. Small thing here, this moving to 9.3. I'm going to do takeoff laps when we get there. Rated EPR departure. Kilo, cross 35 right, Juliet, Mike. And the squawk code, of course. We've been given an automatic squawk code since there's no ATC, so we'll go ahead and change that so it's Pro flag today 4120, and we're going to do that on to ground mode, so TA only. Return, and we're ready to go. Amazing looking plane though. Absolutely incredible. I'm just going to change my button on here, guys. My push to talk button's been removed as well, so that's fine. If you ever have the issue, and you're on stream by the way, I've noticed some streamers seem hesitant to change settings, but you know, it's your computer, guys. Right, we got a few warning systems have popped up on the failures, so reversers, that's probably normal. We haven't got the engine started yet. Stall warning system, gear actuated. Let's get the engines on, that would help. Let's just start on automatic anti-ice. Right, engine start. Fuel introduction. Bleed air on the engines. And I'm going to show you the ECS system again, because it is pretty cool to see these little charts built into the computers. As you can see, the right engine started, is heating up, so the OPU bleed air is also providing air to the engines, but at the same time this engine is now providing air to the cabins, and it's coming through pretty hot, but this valve here will the air conditioning system will control the temperature zone, let's put it that way. Anyway, back to engines, and let's keep an eye on this for starting. Keep it up on the sides. Left engine start. Spooling up, there's 20, let's introduce fuel. As you can see there, the bleed air is now going to come through that engine as well. Let's hopefully it can get through into the cabin, so packs turn themselves off. There we go, they're on, and the APU bleed air comes off. It's a cold day today in Aspen, and it's also very cold at Salt Lake. So we've connected the APU. Let's get the Crankmaster off. I'm going to turn the APU off. You better stop it first. So master, and when you click stop, guys, it does turn it off. I didn't even realise. You're ready to go. At long last, it's only been half an hour. That's pretty good for a Gulfstream 550. Salt Lake City traffic, November 525, Quebec Sierra, taxiing to runway 34 right by Kilo 1, crossing runway 35, Juliet Mike, holding point Mike 1, runway 34 right. Right, hopefully that was a fairly clear call out, and I've tried to turn the ATC down a little bit, because that last flight we did, guys, the ATC came across like super loud. I don't know what it was. Let's just change this as well. This seems to have messed up all my controls. How bizarre. How bizarre is that? I didn't even use the Gulfstream profile. Parking brake released. Yeah, so Sky Eagles, I would like to do group flights in the future, and maybe we can all arrange to fly from an airport and go to an airport that we all vote for, and one of our favourites. That'd be very good. And if anybody wants to try the shared cockpit feature offline or even online, then we can give that a go. Totally open to sharing a cockpit. We've got our beacon lights. We're going to find a lot of money by the FBO when we get back. I have no idea where we're going. I thought we were going to the runway, but the aircraft's moving like super slow today. I know we're heavily loaded on fuel, but still, it's got enough power, 15,000 pounds in each engine there. Okay, we're on kilo, and as you can see, we're on the map as well, so it's pretty easy. Obviously, in real world, I don't know if in real world you would have this aircraft feature where you can see yourself moving. I'm assuming nowadays you can because things are so advanced. In the future, you probably won't even need to look at a chart. The aircraft will just, it'll just do everything itself. Should really look at the departure briefing as well. So we got KSLC up. It's always important, I think, and real world pilots have to do this as well. So take your time, look at the approach and the departure charts and understand what's going on. So in all cases, they are nav departure, and they'll be different for each country. So no chart is going to be the same. So the US has a very different chart to the UK. Russia has very different charts as well. Usually they have a considerable amount of departures and arrival airways on them. So here we go. Standard minimum climb is 3-4 right. Standard minimum climb 310 per nautical mile. It's 11,500 feet. And 12,000 feet is our initial altitude on the departure. Rocky Springs over there. Turbojet aircraft only. Aircraft landed in Denver International Airport via the Purdy transition. And then of course all the frequencies on the same. So top altitude 23,000 feet. Here's the runway, so we clear left, clear right. Salt Lake City traffic November 525, Quebec Sierra, crossing runway 35. And of course that's the one we're crossing now. So yeah, this is a departure, kind of. It's not the best departure one, I'm not going to lie. Doesn't look that clear. Strobe lights on when we cross the runways. So I'm clear on the right, we've got no incoming traffic on the left hand side. There's Juliet down there, and here's Mike. So we're going to follow Mike. As you can see, it's very, very clear. When you passengers on these aircraft, you don't have a clue what's going on most of the time, or sometimes you do. You just see taxiways and lights, and you don't really understand what's going on. And in my case, I had to wait. I got to one airport one time on a, I think it was somewhere in Spain, and it took forever to get back to the terminal because there was no spaces. So in that case, guys, if you have one of those days on an aircraft, you know you're gonna have a rough one afterwards. So hopefully that'll be good. Anyway, in the future, guys, I want to do a real life video on a real propeller aircraft. It won't be me flying, of course. I just want to be a passenger, but I'm thinking about doing a few real world legs as a passenger and giving my feedback on them. So hopefully that'll be nice. I'll try and pick like the smaller locations, so everywhere, most places in England will be fairly easy to get to by propeller aircraft. You know, you've got Barrow Beach, you've got Guernsey, of course, you've got the Isle of Man, the Isle of Wight, Ireland. All those places have propeller aircraft going to them. Get our pitot heats. We've already got window heats on. As you can see, the window heat is in fact de-icing to some extent and removing some of the cold. Let's go and do our stall test. That's a pass. Okay, check V speeds. Let's go for flight reference. It's still coming up at 128, 112, 20, 25, and then V ref is 128. That's good. Barometrics are set. Takeoff speeds are set. Weather has been checked. We only have 7 knots crosswind. Well, actually, it's more of a headwind, to be honest. We could cross-check that with the X-plane map anyway, so it's heading in our general direction. Force lights on, takes lights off, strobes already on, pack signs are on. Flaps set to take off. Speed brake checked. TRA Tara on the TCAS. 122.8 for the Honeycomb. Let's get going, everyone. I'm going to go for 28 degrees of flaps on departure. Salt Lake City's traffic, November 525 Quebec Sierra, 528 Quebec Sierra, departing runway 34 right, the Rug Delta 3 departure. To really remember what it is before we go, too focused on the aircraft at the moment. Runway 34 right, established, flight controls are free and correct. No alerts coming up on the system, let's go on the inhibit, clear for takeoff. Airspeed is alive, 80 knots, cross check. 120. V1 rotate. V2 positive rate climb, gear coming up. Also throttle coming on. That should follow our VNAV reference. Flaps coming up to 10. Extremely stable on departure and flaps up. Very stable on departure and takeoff. You can tell there's calm winds in this aircraft because it handles them extremely well. It's absolutely no challenge at all for it. This thing could probably fly through a hurricane, it wouldn't feel it. Anyway, so I'm going to set the autopilot on. I'm going to let it fly the routes. Pulse lights are coming off. I'm going to leave the logo lights on until we're a bit higher and the seatbelt signs as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. However, we always recommend to keep your seatbelt fastened.
Should have turned the auxiliary fuel pumps on everybody. That's a big error. I've most likely been fined and sacked. Thankfully, I own the company, so I can fly pretty erratically and get away with it. Anti-ice is all good. We got anti-ice on automatic. It is pretty damn clear, and we're going to go and be able to see that sunrise over Salt Lake City. So initial altitude was set at 10,000 feet. We can set our cruising altitude at 41,000. There's no ATC available. Increase our speed to 300. Okay, after takeoff checklist, so the gear is up, our flaps are retracted, landing lights are off, climbing past 10,000 feet, the pressurization is also climbing in the cabin altitude. This thing here for the pressurization should be selected to fly before departure, everybody, so there's a few errors, but then again I haven't been in the aircraft for a week or two, so forgive me. Anyway, we'll work with the flow, so you go from left to right. Everything I already know is already set in the same right position. Everything is good. Just turned on the satcoms for everybody, the internet. Good morning, Salt Lake City. Good morning, my American friends. I will fly back here in the future, and I'll be doing more US flights. I chose to do a US flight for the last flight of the year because I did a few practice runs into Aspen Pitkin in the Cessna Citation X, and I realised that it was perfectly capable of doing it. So we could probably take it up a notch and use the Gulfstream 550. Fingers crossed, though, we can actually do this. Our performance is going to be, because we're overweight in terms of fuel, it's probably going to be a little bit affected, and the landing distance as well is also going to be affected. So as you can see, the landing weight is considerably higher than we need it to be. I don't think they provide charts for this aircraft. As far as I'm aware, there's no charts with it, so we can't see like the maximum takeoff weight and landing weight on a specific page here or manual. As I said before, this book, there is a book down here, and I would love to see more developers doing this, but I would also like to see more developers adding these books and making them interactable, so you can click on these books and bring up your flight manual and your checklists. Go and put a half bank on. Yeah, so more interactable checklists in cockpit rather than just having a menu item that pops up, because that's not realistic. And rather than having inactive objects in the cockpit, make sure everything is active and functional. Okay, again, a lot of sim developers now on the X-Plane and most simulators, but i.e. Microsoft Flight Simulators, don't have curtains going across the cockpits, which I find very, very odd. You'd expect to be a curtain or a door, but nobody seems to be bothering to put them in. We're well above 10,000 feet, you're free to move them out of the cabin. Fasten seatbelt signs are now been taken off. We didn't turn the weather radar on as well, so I forgot to put it on standby. I meant to put it on standby for a couple of minutes, and then apparently it will function. We'll give it a go and see if it comes on. I also have no idea what's going on with the flight, because it's not flying as level as it should be. It flew much better on Lima Charlie, so the NetJets livery has an issue. It seems like you'd think it'd be the same model, but it can't seem to fly this path very, very well. It's all over the place. It's pitching up and down, it's turning left and right, it's just not holding it very stable. It keeps adjusting the throttle, that's probably why. So on the climb, guys, you wouldn't even adjust the throttle. You'd probably just leave it where it is, especially if you're getting higher up, you probably just need to keep pushing it forward and keep it pushed forward, but it keeps going back. It's causing the aircraft to get confused, and then the speed setting is set at 300. It's probably not the right speed for this altitude. You should be climbing probably about 270, 280 knots. Excellent aircraft though, I do like it a lot. It's provided many hours already of enjoyment. If we look over here, there is I think there's a tachometer in here somewhere, I can't remember where it is. And I found the flight time on it. Anyway, 7:30, it's now sunrise. We're going to be cruising through 31,000 and then stopping at 41,000 feet. Can adjust the brightness of the cabin as well. I've had some lagging and FPS issues when you use the vestibule lights and turn them all on. Turning downwash lights on as well, so the vestibule lights do cause issues. Let's try it. Not too bad there. I can't remember which one it was. It may be in the downwash. One of them definitely caused some lag. Anyway, we're want to stop rambling. We're going to let the plane hopefully deal with this. Fairly rough weather, that's why we need that weather radar coming on. If the developer is watching, please try and improve the weather radar, because it should function pretty much straight away. We'll try and incorporate the new X-Plane 12.3, which is now 12.3.4 weather X-Plane, excuse me, weather radar for X-Plane, which is fantastic. High up arrival into Aspen Pitkin, 7,800 feet. Now, because we're tuning the arrival, we have approach L15, no transition, no star available. Well, we can in fact choose a runway. Let's go and activate that. No star arrival, that's absolutely fine. I love a nice little challenge. Slow, right to performance. Runway 15 at KASE. Now you can change the temperatures and things. So we're going to bring up the chart and we're going to look on here for the information. Landing data, so the let's say QNH standard as well. 299.9. Again, I don't really know what that is in hectopascals. With an outside air temperature of 4. And a wind of 211 at 3. And it's probably going to be wet conditions, but we'll wait and see what it actually is when we get there. Anti-ice will probably be... I don't know, I say cowl and wing because we have got it on automatic. Let's just turn them on. .132 knot tailwind. Oh my goodness. We are going to get there super quick at this rate. Is it? What a fantastic flight that is. 124 knots on the tailwind. Absolutely brilliant. No wonder the aircraft is struggling. This is probably beyond its tailwind limit. It's got zero control over the aircraft. Anyway, so 39 degrees of flap sounds normal. Anti-skid is operative, spoilers. We'll confirm it, and then again we can change the wet conditions if it is when we get there, but it's giving us an approach speed of 142 and then VREF of 132 for landing. Scrap our load sheets. Let's bring up KASE and print the meta. Winds are fairly calm, we've got broken clouds at 7,500. There we are guys, 41,000 feet, finally at cruise level. Runway 15, it does look pretty short, but we've got enough room there to land. We landed at a short one in Heidelberg. What a legendary airport. So it is saying there's an arrival available. There's just no arrival coming up in the FMS system of the G550. Perhaps the aircraft hasn't got all the arrivals programmed in. Or maybe it's because it's not a suitable airport, but I'm pretty sure it is. Just going to go for the localized DME runway 15. Dual VHS navigation receivers required. Red table 113. How high are we going to be on this approach? It looks quite high, 13,400 feet. And then down to the localizer. 115, and the Gulfstream 550 will automatically tune it, everybody, so should have no issues other than this tailwind, which is really causing the aircraft to bounce all over the place. Right, we have two approaches. We kind of had two different ways of coming in there. We have the longer way and then the sort of back course. 13,400 for a pretty steep approach. I'm going to step away and get a drink. Please feel free to do the same, and happy holidays to you all as well. Glad to be here. Okay, running back. Hope you're all enjoying this. Beautiful views in the morning, isn't it, in the Utah? We got 3 states today, I believe, or maybe 2. So the original flight was meant to be direct to Santa Fe, but I thought we'd had Aspen Pitkin in the meantime, and then from Aspen Pitkin we'll continue to Santa Fe Airport. But yeah, on the return here, I've noticed this says standby, so that'll be the weather radar, finally on active mode. So let's go ahead and test it. Well, you should have turned the radar on first. Again, it doesn't come up, it just says test, and then this side weather off. Put it on standby. I wonder if no, I was going to say, I wonder if we can use the GNS. I don't know how that would work though, how they could incorporate that. So Gulfstream is completely different than most other airplanes. You've got special uses airspace on there. And it's also capable of doing a LPV approach as well. So up here, so it says FMS, Mach, you know, vertical altitude, etc. But on there, you'll also find on one of my approaches into Guernsey, it does say LPV approach. LPV is a really precise type of approach. Excuse me, which I am, you know, I'm not overly fond of because I haven't done many of them. But then again, I also have, so I may do one on the channel for an LPV approach, which stands for, let me get the meaning off the internet, localizer performance with vertical guidance. So basically like a glorified ILS, but apparently it's more precise and it's GPS based, similar to the ILS I guess, but without the need for ground-based navigational infrastructure, which is great usually for those harder airports, I think. Ah, there it is. So that's how we change it to inches. Let's go ahead and do that for our flight today. 290.92 because we're at 41,000, but at least we can change it now to the correct one. Can even change the HSI and things. There's an option here for weather radar. I think they've only programmed it to work when it's on the ground, meaning that you can activate it on the ground, but you can't activate it in the air. There's the EKR, that's the transition on the outbound. And from EKR to DBL is the main stretch. We're actually meant to be descending now. So we'll go down to our altitude. It's going to be 13,600 and then a fairly steep approach. Again, I hope we can do it, but confident we can do. We've done harder approaches than this in the past. There is the Linz arrival. So Linz is actually there, guys, so maybe we are going on this short approach, like up there and then turning right. Saying Gleno as well at 14,000, so wants us to descend and then climb. That's usually not a good thing. It means there's something maybe wrong with the FMS systems. Anyway, if you go into navigation and to down here, excuse me, on the center console, you can actually point your navigation. So 115 is already in there, which is actually the localizer for the airport we're going to. It's actually automatic tuning. Red table's available as well, so I'm going to tune that onto the navigation too. One 3 0. Like a very strange one. I'm trying to figure out where the runway is. There's Glen, so Linz to Glen. Linz, as I say, is on the chart there. Glen must be at the top here somewhere where we can't see, unless I'm blind. What is the weather conditions? So it's saying it's, again, calm winds. We have broken clouds, 7,500, so pretty low down. There's nothing there about severe thunderstorms or anything like that. Lens speed, so VAP. Again, we've done this, so we're going to send that to the FMS. Pre-tune our altitude. If we change the altitude, I think it's going to start descending immediately.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. Make sure your seat belt...
At least they provided a navi tab.
Our cabin crew are currently passing around the cabin to make a final compliance check. Thank you.
Yeah, so there's the descent, so we just put 13,600 in. Or 14,000 to be a little bit on the safe side. Descent checklist, fuel return is on automatic. ATIS information is received. We have a local pressure setting of 2999. Let's set that. The transition altitude for this airport is probably going to be quite high up. There's the Aspen Tower. In fact, there's the airport, guys, so we are pretty close. Transition is 18,000 feet. There's the red table, which we already have tuned in. So we're obviously flying to the red table, and then we're going to turn into runway 15. It would have been better just to go straight in from that angle, but obviously it's going to bring us, I think, down and then possibly in a snake pattern to final. Approach briefing. So in the event of a go around, it looks like we'll be following the approach chart in terms of altitude. So we'll go around probably back up to 13,400 feet, and we'll continue back round to the red table, and then we'll try for another approach that way. If we are going to land and there's no issues, we'll do full reverse, full spoilers, full flaps, and some manual braking if needed. FMS arrival is set, the minimum decision altitude and decision altitude, so we'll set that now. I'm going to set 250 today. V speeds, VREF has come up, but I don't know if that's right or not. Flight instruments set, we just set the local pressure. Cowling anti-ice is on, pressurization, auto and landing, so let's change that. We are depressurizing though, cabin altitude is about 6,000 feet, and then landing altitude. I don't get that with the landing elevation, you can't really change it. Or I might change, yeah, you can't really change the landing altitude. None of this stuff down here actually works, which is unfortunate. I'm going to turn the weather radar on again. The aircraft is going off course. Whoa, we are out of control here. Let's go direct to lift. Anyway, there's the test. It's finally working on the weather radar. Finally came on at last. Is it going to show us the weather? Oh wow, it's actually come on, guys. It's a miracle. Praise God. It's a miracle. Okay, we're descending down nicely. It's fairly quick. The aircraft really is struggling to follow this route. Maybe because the spoilers are deployed, but that shouldn't affect. Look at this, amazing. It shouldn't affect the aircraft's performance like that. Yeah, so it looks like it was going to be a straight in departure there. I don't know why lins and things have popped up. Probably for the go around, I think. I'll have to just keep going direct to the closest waypoint. If we can do it. Hey guys, I might take control of the aircraft and fly it myself. I'm sort of recognising the area a little bit more now. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn VNAV off. Not VNAV, the auto throttle. Leave VNAV on and we'll just set the speed ourselves if we can do. No, we still can't set it. Let's try that. It's a little bit better. The aircraft's going absolutely bonkers though. It's this particular livery seems incapable of doing it. It really does. Yeah, we should be descending still, so let's go for flight level change. One notch of flaps. I'm not doing anything, everybody. This is this is some real strange C++ programming. Like, really strange. It couldn't even follow the flight plan path straight, either in the weather conditions. I'm starting to think the aircraft's not going to be able to do this. I'm going to take control. Yeah, completely out of control there, even on the trim pitch. I'm going to try and fly it back on course. Look at how far away we were though from the actual route we needed to be on. Insane. Landing lights are coming on, seatbelt signs are coming on. I'm going to use this map here for a reference. There's the airport right below us, so we've obviously missed it on the system. We're just going to continue on downwind here and then we'll turn on to final. It is disappointing. Obviously, we've had issues with the weather radar, but we've had major issues there with, you know, the FMS and the MCP not being able to follow the plan. The weather radar isn't actually showing anything on the map at all. Keep our V reference in mind, so we have 129 on there, and we can check it on here. So you have an approach speed of 140 and then a landing speed of 130.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just been cleared to land.
We're about to do our U-turn.
Is securely fastened.
We're going to start descending now as well, and then we'll do a descending turn around to face the runway. Let's get the approach switch armed. Flight reference, navigation. I'm going to set nav 1, so that should come up with the frequency, the runway 15. Course of 151. Where's that plan? There it is, so we'll follow that as well down to the runway. There it is, everybody. Another notch of flaps. Yeah. Usually gives that warning when you pitch down too steeply, but this is a steep approach. I don't really know how to mute that. We did click and inhibit. Yeah, so inhibit does nothing as well. That should make it be quiet. Full flaps. I know we're a little bit fast. We will do this. All the warnings going crazy for an airport that's in the mountains. Alright, there we are. We're a little bit more stabilised thank you to my somewhat quick thinking, and the autopilot's just completely incapable of flying that, so I think we'll probably have to fly it out of here as well. Thousand feet, sort of stabilised. Missed altitude will be 13,600 feet. We're well low down because obviously the airport has the steep approach. We're about our approach speed 140. Five 500 feet. 200 feet. Minimums will continue.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Whoa, slam down on the rear. Spoilers and hopefully reverses. Spoilers retracted, speed brakes retracted, reverses retracted, flaps retracted. Welcome to Aspen everybody. You had a rough landing there. Sorry about the autopilot. Grant from CPT had to save the day once again from malfunctioning technology. So, taxi lights on. Clear right. Let's go ahead and just taxi to the terminal. Lovely looking terminal though. We'll go and hold short here just while we get a few things turned on, like the APU. Isolation valve. And the ice can come off. Strobes off. Weather radar's coming off, not that it worked in the first place. In fact, let's leave it on standby and then we'll give it one more go on departure for the next route. But yeah, that really, I guess it is surprising to see how badly the plane handles there at certain airports, but it's also interesting. It's just interesting because you'd think if you've had a good flight on an aircraft, like I've had good flights on this, and then you get one where it's like that and it doesn't understand how to do it and it's all over the place. It's just interesting to see the difference there in performance. We do need... flight plan's cleared. No. Yeah, flight plan's cleared itself. Brilliant. Maybe the developer's hacking into my computer. Anyway, bleed air from the APU coming on. Let's leave the packs on as well. APU generator, and we'll taxi to parking. Aspen Pitkin traffic November 525 Quebec Sierra, clear runway 15, taxi into terminal. No idea what the taxiway is, let's have a look. We didn't do too bad in terms of length. Obviously we had that hard slam down because I forgot how long the plane was. We'll taxi down Alpha, then terminal is literally... Oh, we got an FBO as well, so let's not go terminal, let's go to the FBO. We'll drop the packs off and then we'll have a short break for the next flight. Final destination, Santa Fe Airport, everybody. I hope you're all looking forward to it. Oh, these are coming off. I'm going to turn the window heats off as well. Wind blower and cabin air window heat can come off as well at the same time. 3,000 feet. Let me know your thoughts about this plane, everybody. Do you like it? Do you think it looks good? Do you think it looks bad? How do you think it handled then? I think it handled pretty poorly. Not manually flying, of course, but by autopilot. So here's the FBO, this little building over here. Not this one over here. Around this area, so let's go ahead and park there. They've also got a little bit of a hangar open for us. Mostly GA planes at the right. Hangars there as well, so we'll go next to the hangars in the FBO. Does look like there's a parking space for vans and things, but we take the open air one. Right next to the fuel truck.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our destination airport. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign and we have parked at our parking stand. Thank you.
Maybe we should have parked over there and then we wouldn't have trucks driving into us. That's alright, we can just park here, it's absolutely fine. It's fine guys, it really is. Parking brake is set. We probably could have kept that weather thing, and goodbye to the first set of people. Shut down checklist, or for the engines, it will keep the APU on.
Studio airline and the entire crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Engines shut off. Beacon lights off. Door was never secured during flight. Again, we don't have suicidal passengers, but you should probably secure it anyway. Fuel and payload, so boarding, and we take passengers to terminal. I think they open the door as well for them. Let's just check. No, they don't. We'll open it for them, and we'll say goodbye to our first lot. Just inhibit the warning system. Right. Time for that moment of truth, everybody. We're going to step outside. We're going to have a quick look at the replay. God bless the people who are sat at the back of that flight. I was going to chock it as well, but there's no option to do it on here. So they're a bit of a pain. They can't do it from the external, which I think is something they should have added. Anyway, we're sort of parked with the trucks here, not very realistic. What a landing though. I barely saw the airport until the last minute, and the autopilot was obviously completely incapable of flying that approach, even on the route beforehand. So everybody, final moment of truth. We're probably going to have the fuel truck flying with us as we watch it, and we have, of course, the fuel truck. Incredible. Yeah, so this is me when I've taken control. Looks like there's birds there, or just rain. The rain is frozen in the air. Yeah, so taking control and then sort of getting established hand-flown approach. Runway 15. We were coming in low, as I say. It is a steep approach, although this is a better angle than runway 33. Anyway, guys, let's watch the magical flying van as we watch the replay, and I'll start the countdown when we stop it, and then we'll have a short break of about 5 minutes, which is standard for our streams, I think. So please enjoy this and enjoy the 5-minute break. Welcome back everybody to the second leg of the flight today. I hope you're all doing very well. I hope you got some nice hot cocoa, coffee, tea, biscuits, chocolates, all the goodies that we're going to need for this flight. I've just realised as well, it's supposed to be VFR in KSAF, aka New Mexico's Santa Fe Airport. And also it's going kind of gloomy now, so we probably won't have good weather when we arrive. I don't know, fingers crossed we will do. It's been pretty good so far. I hope that landing was enjoyable for you to watch. I actually thought it was pretty good, just slightly hard on the touchdown, and as I say, I had to take control. For some reason the Gulfstream really struggled today with some of the flight stuff, but it's not a problem. It's always a joy to hand fly it. Anyway, we can assume the Yoke's pretty much ready to go. We've done a pre-flight walk around and all the tests prior to starting the section. I just want to say as well, the plane does look, from the front, it looks very much like a snake. I don't know if anybody can see the resemblance, but it looks very much like a snake head, more so than most other aircraft. I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but when I was a kid I used to watch a program where there was planes with faces, and I'm sure you've all seen the film with the the Cars films by Disney Pixar, and planes, of course. They were good as a kid, but now as you get a bit older, it's like they don't quite look as friendly, the aircraft fronts. I mean, that is potent, and it's also got the eye at the front of it, the camera. So yeah, it's very grown up aircraft, considerably different to those I used to fly when I was younger. And the systems are a lot more complicated as well. If you are into Gulfstream like I am, and I've just really started to get into them properly, then you'll know that there's a new Gulfstream coming out, and I'm really looking forward to that. And of course there's a new Bombardier Challenger, is it? A new Challenger coming out. There's a few new jets coming out this coming quarter, and next year, of course. Let's hop into the cockpit, guys. We're going to come up with our new flight plan on here. I'm going to get our board and things sorted. So, back to our charts. Just downloaded the chart now for the next route. So, here's our original route to KASE. And now we need the next one to K. Let me just check I've actually downloaded it. Yeah, so KASE to KSAF is in the files. FMS plans. NOTAMs are pretty good. There's no considerable, there's no turbulence or anything, but as I say, it probably will be. So this is the right date, 23rd of December. KASE to KSAF, Gulfstream 550. This is the wrong tail number, but it's fine. We're Quebec Sierra today. We're going in the NetJets livery again. Estimated takeoff weight 24,000 with under the maximum takeoff weight. Back up to 41,000 feet. I hope we can handle it this time without that 120 knot tailwind. And we actually need 2,000 of fuel, so I think we're already good on fuel. 2,000 on fuel, and we have about 6,000 on board, so we had plenty on there. Back to the plan, and we'll get the packed weights as well. So our block time is supposed to be about 3:30. That's in 10 minutes. We will easily do that. 13 people. We got 1 extra passenger. We got 300 baggage still. So about 1,100 payload, 2,200 zero fuel weight, and fuel weight is 2,100 or 2,000 there. That's in tons, by the way, this measurement, and then you can convert it to the kg equivalent fairly easily. So 13 packs with our load today. Just literally one more person. Let's bring them to the plane. Let's get things started. Let's get the beacon on early. Let's get the seatbelt signs on. Anti-ice can be automatic. Window heats, cabin heats. I'm going to keep the blower on for departure. We leave the auxiliary fuel pumps off. APU is good. We've had a good start. We've got no things popping up here that are of concern. The TRU is done automatic. The fuel return is also automatic. You can also turn it off. Isolation valve, APU bleeder. temperatures, and we'll select that from landing to flight when the door is closed. Alright, I think it's just a case of waiting for the packs, guys, and then we can get going. Let's get our flight plan put in while we wait. Not bad though, not bad landing at this airport considering how high up it is. Quite impressed with
Boarding
it.
completed and main door closed.
Okay, there they go. For some reason Austin's vegan food just got delivered at the same time. That's good timing. What do we need on here? Back to the flight plan. Okay, brilliant. So we have got a SID here, and we've also got a no star as well. We've got no stars today. It's unfortunate. KSAF destination. Let's do our departure. So we're actually going on the opposite runway. So when we landed, we sort of had a crosswind. We kind of landed on the right one, but it's given us free, probably because of the mountainous terrain there. That was the only thing coming up on the flight plan has been a concern. Runway 3 for the Linz Zulu 9 departure. So again, we have some outdated information in the aircraft. I think the developer needs to get onto this stuff and don't add quality of life things. Rather, you need to improve the base model and make it function as supposed to. So the information here is outdated. That is kind of normal for X-Plane. But when it says Linz 1, it should, if it was outdated it by a little bit, it would like be maybe number 8. Linz 8 departure, but this is a 1, which suggests that this is quite out of date by quite a few years. Anyway, the transition is direct to keep, so we know no transition today. Activate that, and then we can do the route. We should be able to do the route there via N2. Very odd. Anyway, direct to keep. Center it in here. This is very odd, isn't it? The if we do that, maybe that'll work. Maybe we have to get rid of the KSAF, and then we do it. That's bizarre. Yeah, we can't delete that, and we can't enter in any anything else. Let's try this and see if it works. 41,000 feet. It probably won't though, because we're not got to enter the flight plan in. Direct to keep, climb N, and then direct M and on. Let's try and keep one more time. I've got to be doing something wrong here, guys. Usually we would enter the on a different page. There'd be like waypoint sections and things. And there should be an origin page here for the actual flight plan as well. So if we go into here, we should be able to bring up the proper page. I've got a maintenance page there. Right, we're going to pre-select here runway 33 for arrival, same as departure, and I'm going to select. It looks like the RDAV approach be the best option. I quite like those. I'm going to be doing no transition for that. HPU's coming up, but there's nothing in the FMC. There probably is transitions we can do, and there's no stars available. That's an LPV approach, guys. So I actually said about that before. What a coincidence! That is an actual LPV approach. That's really, really cool. LPV, RNAV minimum. So that's one I did at Guernsey was an RNAV LPV approach as well. Cool, and now it's actually coming up with this sort of page here. We can enter in different waypoints. Well, we need to do it Ideally before the arrival. Nope, still can't do it. So it looks like it's going to take us just directly from the departure to the arrival airport. That can't be right. Right, we'll leave it as it is, guys, and we'll just assume that it doesn't want to enter them because it doesn't work. Right, performance. Can even do departure and approach speed there if we need to, so 250 or 200 in this case for the departure speed limit. That's handy. And the flap speed limits, we're not concerned about that today. Right, this is important though. Fuel reserve, we've not got a load sheet today. You would expect one. So we're going to have to use the fuel balance. 2974. The fuel reserve. So we needed 2,000, so again about 4,700 on the reserves there. Transition cruiser to cruise winds. Right, now this is where we enter it. I forgot about this. Go across to your flight plan. To the cruise page. Top climb 410, so the winds are going to be 281 at 96 knots. That is, they're still pretty strong. And then the ISA deviation, I don't really know. We can't put the actual temperature in of -57 because that wouldn't be the deviation, but let's try it anyway. Right, we'll just leave it in like that and see if it works. 300 in the cargo still.
We would like to familiarize you with this aircraft.
Everybody's familiar with the aircraft.
Please use caution when approaching.
Right, so everybody's on board. We're ready to go, guys. That was pretty quick. Let's go for an engine start, and then we'll get the departure information at the same time. The Q&H pressure, which we didn't set on landing. 3004. We do flaps 20. V speeds, so VR about 121 and then VT 130. It's coming up. Coming up as a little bit under, to be honest.
Stow tables and carry-on luggage for takeoffs and landings. Adjust your seat back to the full upright position.
Yeah, so it's slightly off there, a little bit lower than what we needed it to be on the VR. You can't change them, just do it like this. Select it, make sure you deselect it, guys.
Pull the mask down to the full length of the tubing and place over your nose and mouth.
And then 130, and then VREF. It doesn't really give you a VREF on here that I can see, so these are going to be on. 138 is the reference.
Should smoke enter the cabin, unzip the soft case bag and remove the filter from the vacuum seal bag.
To set 1,000 feet above ground level as well.
Red rubber filter caps and place the hood over your head. Firmly tighten the head strap and
That could take a while, guys. It could take a long time. I'll set 1,000 feet like that and see if it works. Flight reference, we've got the radar tuned standby. Let's go for an engine start.
Please take a moment to observe the emergency window exits on the sides of the cabin. Each is clearly marked and can be
Alright, engine coming alive. Fuel introduction.
and then pull the window marker handle inward. Exit the aircraft by stepping through the escape hatch onto the wing. The main entry door, which you use to the door. Light vests are
Good engine start. Right, engine. Let's go for a number.
Remove the vest from
Bleed air is on. Let's turn the packs on.
place it over your head.
Left engine start.
Over your chest.
They take a long time giving that safety demonstration. It's fantastic. They really take the time with it. Okay, we've got fan movement. ITT's rising.
Red tank ports will open to the inflation chamber to
Low
change
pressure and high pressure are
Awards
also
must be pulled to inflate the vest, but do so only when exiting the aircraft.
fine,
Two
I guess. They're not
life
really
rafts are
moving
also
much.
stowed on board. They are located under the aft cabin, right hand emergency exit windows.
Repressurize the system here
and are
while we wait.
deployed through the emergency escape hatches. All flight crew members are trained in the use of these rafts and will assist each passenger in evacuation procedures. Should you have any medical or dental concerns, or have recently been scuba diving, please alert your flight crew.
And the star is good.
Convenience items are available for your use, including phone access, power outlets,
APU bleed air coming off.
iPad holders, and display screens. Snacks and beverages are located in the galley.
APU shutting down. As you see there, we cut the APU bleed air off, so now we're just relying solely on the engine bleed air. But it's absolutely fine. Hydraulics are good as well. We have no overheating in the system. The pressure's good. We have a summary page. This is extremely useful information. This is how in-depth this model actually is. It might not function the best, and it might have a few texture issues and modeling issues, but you know, overall it's very in-depth. You get all this information about the systems and the hydraulics, you know, the DCs, the electrics, the avionics, fuel, bleed air, emergency gear. It's all in there, and it seems fairly accurate, I'd say. I say fairly accurate, but fairly accurate to what you actually experience in the aircraft. So we're just going to go straight up to 41,000 again. There's probably going to be no ATC. We're going to continue to squawk. Make sure I fire my flight plan correctly. But we are going to continue to squawk whatever it is that they've given us. 2751. Taxi mode. 2751. Okay, runway 33, the opposite end. So we're going to taxi down Alpha. It looks like we're going to go down Alpha to holding point Alpha. It says Alpha 9 there. Holding point Alpha 9, runway 33 for the. Let's get the departure up on here. Berlin's 1 departure. Top altitude 16,000 feet, so this is where we'll come out. That's why the Linz one is there, guys. That is the departure route. I thought it would be. So 3003 is the departure there to Linz, and then we'll continue on. Or we should have at least continued on to our next turning, but we should be by that point pretty high up. Taxi lights, logo lights, it's a little bit dark outside. Wing lights, pitot heats. Turn them on at the runway. It is looking a little bit dark in here. How do I improve this situation? Is there a specific light switch in here that we can flick on? It does seem very dark. Yeah, even with full lights on there, it's still not lighting up too much. Flight controls, free and correct. We have aileron control, we have elevators. Rudder control. Let's go ahead and secure the door. Door safety on. Aspen Pitkin traffic 525 Quebec Sierra, taxiing to runway 33, holding point Alpha 9 via Alpha. Parking brake released, ready to go. Ground spoilers armed. "7,000 feet this airport is, everybody. 7,000 feet. We've got the cold weather operations to some extent. And we've also got the high up altitudes to contend with. This is going to be a very, very, very fast departure. Full thrust, and it's going to be like a rocket taking off. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a static takeoff, where we stop at the runway and then we'll apply full power and then release the pedal brakes, and then we'll accelerate to VR speeds. If there's any issues before V1, we'll abort the takeoff and we'll stop before the end of the runway. If there's any issues after we've got past V1 and VR, we'll just continue straight ahead up to 13,600 feet and we'll make for runway 33 again. Auxiliary fuel pumps. Double check the navigation performance. So cruise, for some reason not coming up on there. You can do it another way on here. 41,000 feet. Confirm. I'm just hoping the VNAV will come online. It doesn't seem to be coming online, so obviously something is not right. And also passengers. I didn't enter this last time. That's my own mistake. Huge error on my part, actually. So yeah, when I come back into this aircraft in the future, I'm definitely gonna try and keep on the ball. I keep switching between the Citation Jets 525, the Citation X. You know, the smaller propeller aircraft, which doesn't have anything like this in it. Cruise is coming up now, so hopefully the VNAV will work. There we go, we got the takeoff, we got the wind, so wind if we get the METAR. Let's just print that off. (220) at 3 knots. There we go, and dry conditions as far as you can tell. We're not got any rain, we're not expecting any rain at all. Keep stopping as well in Tasteway. I didn't realise KASE Airport, because it's so high up, it's also a little bit sloped as well. So anyway, performance is entered. Let's try VNAV. VNAV now works. Brilliant. Trim setting for takeoff is 9.5 degrees. V speeds are confirmed. There they are, everybody. I've entered them in partially manually, so hopefully it saves those for takeoff for the auto throttle mode as well. Let's inhibit this for departure. We're going to stick our strobes on nice and early. Keep our logo on. Wingtip wheel well, wouldn't really need them. Pressurization to flight. Door is in fact secure. We push this safety button up here, so I'm sort of remembering a bit more now where the features are at least. Parking brake, flap set to 20. Course lights takes lights coming off. Double check the departure chart, so the lens 1 departure. On a heading of 303, so let's try and change the course. Can't change the course, you can change the heading though, to change it to 303 on here rather than the runway heading. And then we'll have it post departure. 303, and then after we've turned to that, we'll go to again, we can't enter the waypoints in properly, but it's given us the waypoints that it's sort of pre-select. I don't get it. It selected those rather than ones we had on our flight plan, which is not ideal. Not ideal at all. Continued on following page, so let's get the second part of that up. Lens 1 continued. Take off runway 33, climb heading 343 to 9,100 and climbing left turn to 16,000 and heading of 273. Intercept the course outbound and then assign transition. So you're probably not going to be able to do this because it's not come up in the FMS. But oh well, we can deal with it. Well, actually, let's keep it open. We may need that in case we anyway, red table transitions there in case we need it. But we probably won't be able to follow it, to be honest. Flaps are set. Transponder coming back to TAR, everybody, for the final sector. Final leg now of the year. Absolutely incredible. Quick test of the weather radar. It is in fact working, so let's hope that this works on departure as well. It's probably not going to go if there's any weather readings. There's no severe weather, although it should still show clouds to some extent. We'll stick on the co-pilot side too. Continuous ignition. Going to go for the static takeoff. Strobe lights on, logo lights, takeoff lights. Aspen Pitkin traffic, November 525, Quebec Sierra departing runway 33, the lens 1 Zulu departure. And we'll climb straight to 41,000 feet. Flight controls free and correct. Runway 33 established. Rudder brakes pressed. Engines coming alive, no warnings. Inhibited the warning system, let's just get rid of that set. No warnings. Take off for a set. Airspeed alive. V1, rotate. V2, positive rate of climb, gear coming up. Ground spoilers off. Flaps to 10. Initial heading of 303 towards Linz. When we get to Linz, we'll do our turn to our final destination, the Santa Fe Airport, New Mexico. Flaps up. Landing lights off. Pulse lights off. Anti-ice is on. Let's turn that on now. Generator's looking good. Cabin altitude is stabilizing. Autopilot engaged. Let's hope we can follow this route. Accelerating to 300 knots already. Direct to Lacro. And then we'll continue. Please God, allow the plane to fly well. Seems really loud actually compared to last time. And goodbye to Aspen Pitkin Airport. Auto throttle coming on. There's the terrain inhibit. I need to keep that on my radar. So terrain inhibit, got your damper there. There's a transition. Let's go to standard pressure. 2992. Cruising through the 30,000 feet already. This thing is like a rocket, honestly. It's not even that warm outside. It's minus 45 degrees and it's still got 300 knots of speed on it. It's just insane the amount of power this aircraft has. I cannot wait to share more aircraft on the channel. I really can't. And I did say before, there is a lack of quality of aircraft out there. X-Plane don't really provide many. I know Microsoft Flight Simulator provide a lot more for the base, but on Microsoft Flight Simulator you have, you know, mostly screens, and I don't want to look at a screen in an aircraft. This is kind of tolerable because you still got, it's just a little bit more tolerable than the G1000, let's put it that way, and I don't really like that sort of stuff. So if anybody says go over to Microsoft for the variety, I probably won't, because they've got mostly digitalized aircraft, and they all fly pretty much the same anyway. X-Plane's got the same issue. Not many aircraft, and most of them on X-Plane 12 default ones anyway are mostly just Garmin 1000s. I'm looking for analog switches, analog gauges and switches. As I say, this is alright because it's kind of a high-end jet, but yeah, anyway, I've been looking into getting things like the Phenom, but I looked at the Phenom and that had the same issue as the screens. If any of you have any recommendations for analog instruments, and analog instrument aircraft specifically, then please drop them in the comments afterwards, because I would love to check them out. Frander's Caravan has appealed to me a little bit. There are a few things off about it. There's a real lack of interaction. and you can't do the manual refueling, which I've been looking for as well. Let's try this without the auto throttle on. Because it keeps going up and down and not really maintaining the speed. I think it's just the aircraft in general. The model's not been made very well, so obviously it doesn't follow the speed very well, even at a set power setting. As you can see there, it's fluctuating all over the place. Throttle should change, but you shouldn't really hear the change that much. It should be very, very, very subtle changes. What's the headwind, or is it a headwind or a tailwind? No, it's a crosswind of about 80 knots, so it's not too bad. Apologies for the silence, everybody. I'm just reading some messages on my on the forums about the aircraft. So there's a few people pointing out that the aircraft can fail to engage the lateral navigation on the first waypoint, but I've not had any issues with that. It follows the flight plan pretty well. It's just not flying it well, if that makes sense. It follows the route, but it doesn't. Then at the end there, it had issues. Probably because of the weather, probably because of the altitude. It seemed to get a bit confused. Anyway, we have a little bit of a traffic alert here, so just off to our right hand side. Let's see if we can see them. It's pretty clear outside. Those we leave Utah. Excuse me, not Utah. We leave Colorado for New Mexico. We've actually been in 3 states today. We've been in Utah for Salt Lake City. We've been in Colorado for Aspen, Pitkin, and our final destination is New Mexico for Santa Fe. So quite the exploration in the Gulfstream 550. This is incredible in the States, though. They've got some incredible scenery. Everybody knows places like Niagara Falls, and I would love to fly there, but I want to do it in a small plane so we can really get the views taken in. I mean, sure, it's just landing, it's just mountains, but it's the way it's shaped. It's the natural formations of the rock, the water flow. You know, it just looks incredible, I think. It's a real work of art. Anyway, in terms of the aircraft, I think that's it over there. He's going pretty fast. Looks like he's in a 737 or something. We have about 120 north miles to Lecro, and I think we're going to be straight in to runway 33. So Tisky, oh no, it's kind of turning around a little bit. Well, it would have been good to go straight in. Yeah, Wamoke down to runway 33 for the RNAV. That's the RNAV approach, runway 33, and then it also says LPV as well. So RNAV minimum LPV, which means when we use this thing, this will say LPV on it. You got the feeling. Anyway, guys, I'm not gonna sing. not that famous on YouTube yet. It is a great hobby, though, isn't it? Sharing these flights. I hope you all enjoyed them this year. incredible. Give it up for DJ Gulfstream. Just looking on the store again, I really, like I say, tempted and I want to get more analog aircraft, so I guess for the new year, I said about the PC-12, but again, it's just this lack of interaction for developers, and they always seem to focus on, oh sure, they make it look pretty, but a lot of them don't. And when it comes to actual functionality, there's not much there, and when it comes to doing pilot stuff, you can't really do much, like checking the fuel, checking the oil levels. Those are things pilots do, and those are things that should be on the aircraft if you buy them, I think. You know, when we've got, there are some great examples of that, but we'll wait and see. So, in terms of like analog, PC-12 is an option. We've got, you know, we could get a Cessna 172, although Laminar Research has got a pretty good default one. The Cessna Caravan and the PC-12 are the only ones really that are appealing to me at the moment. And Aerobask, they do a few propeller aircraft. But a lot of these aircraft on the store are actually for X-Plane 11. I encourage the developers to upgrade to X-Plane 12. I know Carinado just recently upgraded their Beechcraft Premier 1 or something aircraft to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. It's not a new aircraft, but it's just been updated to be compatible with it. So it would be great if some of the devs from X-Plane 11 could, you know, develop and upgrade them for X-Plane 12. There's plenty of them on the store that could be transferred. Beechcraft, for example, there's plenty on there. That the Dutch S76 was exclusive to X-Plane 12, I think. Well, I think it probably was on X-Plane 11 in some form. They had the Dutch S, yeah, Dutch S on X-Plane 11 as well. There's definitely a market there, guys, if you're, you know, a really good developer who wants to put the effort into it. And the Aerostar, it is a bit of an old one, but the Aerostar 601 pressurized just doesn't look great, but I guess that's potentially another option if you're into that sort of stuff. And there's a Piper Seminole as well, which is a twin piston aircraft, of course. I think the Piper Seminole is sort of like very similar to a Piper Seneca. Not quite the same thing though. .51 nautical miles to Lacro, and I think we are going to be doing a U-turn, guys, at Lacro down to runway 33. A bit of a turn at the end, so let's get descending down. We have to go to approach height is quite high at this airport as well, so I think it's like 6,000 feet. Saying 10,000 there at Lacro. Let's go down to 10,000 feet. Let's get the seatbelt signs on. And I can understand why we've got a lot of high terrain here as well, but I'm pretty sure it'll fly. The Gulfstream really is flying. Absolutely flying. Anyway, 10,000 feet, and then by Tiski 8200, Wamuk 6800, and then of course descend down to runway 33. The glide slope on this one is pretty steep, I guess, and then we'll come off at runway 33 is quite narrow, so We may get off at Foxtrot, Delta or Foxtrot, just depends of course. And then we'll taxi to the parking via either Foxtrot, Delta or one of those. May even have to go all the way down to Golf. This is up to date charts though, it says January 2025, so I guess that's pretty up to date.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. Make sure your seat belt is securely fastened. Our cabin crew are currently passing around the cabin to make a final compliance check. Thank you.
We didn't get a load sheet, as I say, a little bit strange, but we didn't load or take anything out. We got winds at 340, 8 knots. Let's just put our arrival and our performance in. So landing performance. Can't really enter wind into that. Wind here, so 23 degrees. What's the temperature there? Not very high, and the wind of course. 340 at 8. Elevation 6,300 feet. $138 on the approach and then landing of 128. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to turn the... I think I already had it off, didn't I? Yeah, I already had the auto throttle off. Anyway, I'll keep it off. We'll do a little hand flow and then hopefully take control at the end if we need to. Fantastic. Something going on with the landing altitude, or is that just the lighting system? Maybe the lights, guys, not bright enough to... there we go, if we just crank them up a little bit. APU still on, blimey. Just the master switch. Anyway, we're going to select landing now on this pressurization, but the cabin is already decreasing and landing elevation is already automatically entered. Let's hope the ILS frequency will be entered as well. So there's the airport, everybody. We're actually really high up. There is no ILS, of course. It's an RNAV approach. I didn't realise how close we were to it, in which case let's slow down. About 250. Still have the outbound here, and then we'll go outbound. A very steep turn there to runway 33. It's actually pointed in the right direction. It's just this turn here I'm concerned about. So what I'm going to do, we do this usually, but we can set a course to Lacro, and then I'll set heading mode. And what that'll do then is allow me to extend a little bit out for that inbound turn to runway 33. New Mexico, everybody, nice and hot. Hopefully nice and warm down there. Real world time, real world weather, or so I hope. Let me just check on the configurations. So yeah, real world on both. Landing lights are coming on. Remember, the altitude of the airport is 6,300, so at 8,000 feet we'll be at 2,000 above airport level. Let's just decrease our descent to 2,500 feet a minute, and we're going to do that right and turn using the heading mode in a sec. There we go, everybody, right and turn. Continue descending. I'm going to select LNAV now, so it does it for us. I'm going to set the runway for the runway course on the heading, so a course of... There's no course available, it just says 3-3. Oh yeah, there it is. Just to be able to see it, so 338. .338 on there. Maybe we are better off using that because the LNAV's having some issues again there, getting on waypoint. I set minimums, metric minimums of 250 feet at this airport, I think. Maybe 300 just to be a little bit on the safe side. V-speeds aren't popping up. What are the landing speeds again? Good 3,525. Landing. Ground spoilers are armed. One notch of flaps. Slow down to 210 knots. Yeah, again, it's just that it is having issues at this airport, everybody. It's having issues to the point it can't even get back on track on the LNAV. We saw this at Aspen, Pitkin County as well. Again, a little bit disappointing. We have programmed it. You have seen me operate this aircraft before, and in the past I've done it fine. But on this particular occasion in the US, it's having some real issues with the guidance system here. Santa Fe traffic, November 525, Quebec Sierra, expecting the RNAV approach runway 33. Current altitude 8,000 feet. Yeah, so it looks like we have to use the heading mode. It is a shame. We can't really select nav. Navigation's on FMS. Yeah, very strange though. You should be locking on with the LNAV without any issues. Cool, flaps at 10. The ignition can come to continuous nice and early when we get to final. Airport should be straight ahead at 12 o'clock. I think that's it over there, isn't it? So we get on course a little bit more. Ah, 6,000 with the altitude. Let's go to 7,000. 7,300. .24 knot headwind. We'll add that onto the final speed. Final speed reference 123 for 125 for VREF, 135 for approach. Flaps are coming down to 20 degrees.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just been cleared to land. Please make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened.
You can see where it is, everyone. I just cannot see where the runway is. We are. Oh, there it is. There's the runway. There's runway 33. Just slightly off course. Let's get course corrected using header mode. I would go to lateral navigation, but I'm not sure it's gonna work. Let's try it one more time and see if we can lock onto this Tisky waypoint. Not hopeful though. Ah, it is. It seems to be working this time. Brilliant. Awesome. There's no ILS for this runway. We could probably just go in hand flown. You know what it's like, guys. I love a hand flown approach. Well done, Gulfstream. You've actually finally locked onto the runway and the course that we need. I'm going to turn the anti-ice off. It's actually, pretty, like I say, pretty warm out here in the middle of nowhere. Runway is established. We're 3 nautical miles to Wamak, and then from Wamak less than 2 nautical miles to final. So gear down. Set our course to the runway course. Full flaps. Continuous ignition. We're going to proceed at the moment. Slow down to our approach speed of 135. I'll activate the approach mode, but again, there's not an approach here. Let's just see what happens when we get a little bit closer. And the altitude for a go around will probably be 10,000 feet. My aircraft. Santa Fe traffic, November 525, Quebec Sierra, short final runway 33.
200,
Continue.
100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Reversers active. Reversers disengaged. Let's go to the end of the runway, guys, unless we made it out before. No, we didn't. We didn't make it out before that. We've actually used a lot of the runway here. Ah, so the runway was super short, which is a surprise. Anyway, flaps up, spoilers are retracted. The reversers are stowed, the taxi lights are on. Let's go ahead and pull off to the side of the runway and we'll do a post-landing checklist, after landing checklist. Autopilot things can be, MCB panel could be disengaged. Yeah, very small airport. The Gulfstream probably was better off landing on runway 2. Strobes off. Transponder to standby. If you have enjoyed this flight so far, everybody, and this landing, we are going to watch it again. It was slightly hard just because I'm forgetting how long the Gulfstream is. Slightly hard, but then again, you don't know if you've touched down unless you've got a little bit of bump in there. Let's get the GPU, APU on. Isolation valve. We'll taxi to parking. Santa Fe traffic, November 525, Quebec Sierra, clear runway 33, taxi into parking. Alright everybody, we're not appearing on the map at this airport for some reason. Well, we have in fact used the entirety of runway 33 pretty straight on the centre line. We're going to take Golf then, unless we go over here to this little space, we may be able to go there. I don't know what the fees are at this airport, I've never been here before, so can't imagine the cheaper of Gulfstream. Landing fee, especially in the approach. We didn't use the hood for the LPV, but it was an LPV, everybody. Cool, windshield air, window heat can come off. All the Peter heats, anti-ice. It's looking very, very nice here. APU is active, let's get the bleed air on and we'll switch to the APU generator. I don't think we're going to fit in there, everybody. It's very tempting, trust me, it is really tempting to go in there, but it's full of choppers. It looks like some kind of military base. I wonder if this is a military airport, Santa Fe Municipal. We'll have to continue down to regular parking, we're not getting special treatment today. And the chart should be able to give us an indication of where we can park, like a GA parking will do. We have got the airport diagram, but there's nothing appearing, it just says terminal and hangars. Anyway, down Golf, and then we'll go down, probably down here where Alpha is. Blimey. Santa Fe traffic Golf, November 525 Quebec Sierra, crossing runway 2. Clear right, clear left. I already know it's clear, everybody. I can see it on the chart. There's no TCAS alert. Let's turn the weather radars off, actually. We don't want to fry anybody's balls off. So anyway, we're going to go left. There is quite a few GA aircraft in the area, as you can see. We're technically commercial, but still GA aircraft. Commercial operation in a general aviation plane. Ground spoiler off. Auxiliary fuel pumps coming off. Let's go down here to this N1. Hopefully there's a bit of room. It looks like there is between the Piaggio and the is that an it's not an ATR, that is it. That's a something else. I have no idea what it is. Yeah, we'll take this space over here just next to the hangar. Oh wow, look at that, everybody. It's almost as if they knew we were coming. They had the hangar prepared for us. In that case, let's go straight in and give them the VIP treatment. So glad that X-Plane did this, by the way, because it never used to have open hangars, and then they started to add open hangars into the game, and it just elevates the experience so much. Of course, it's not going to be realistic size, so we probably killed everybody by doing that. We'll just leave it like that and see if it's fine. Nope. Maybe outside would be a bit cooler. Merry Christmas, you rich bastards. I hope you enjoyed the flight. Right, we're just about done. I think we couldn't park in there even if we wanted to, but it probably would allow us to go here. As you can see, the yellow line is available. We'll be fine. We've got the rear end in. Parking brake on. APU is on, so let's cut the engines off.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our destination airport. For your safety and comfort, please
Well, the anti-icing heat's on. Let's turn those off.
until the captain turns off the
Nav lights,
fasten
beacon
seatbelt
lights
sign,
coming off.
and
Full
we have parked
shutdown.
at our parking stand. Thank you.
Bleed air off the engines. Packs. Turn the APU bleed air off. Just leave the APU generator on at the moment. Fuel transfer. Do that off. Do the main fuel pumps off. IRS. All the display panels. We've put the TCAS transponder into standby mode. Stop the APU.
Ladies and gentlemen, please check around your seat for any personal belongings you may have brought on board with you. On behalf of our AKD Studio Airline
Door
and the
safety
entire crew,
off.
I'd like to thank you for joining us
There you
on
go.
to seeing you on board again in the near future. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you so much to the lady on board for her amazing customer service. She did a good job. Okay, APU masting come off. We're shutting that down. We're all off there, aren't we? We haven't got GPU on. Battery's coming offline. That's us done. There's no control lock in this aircraft. Pair of sunglasses though. Scrap that, and we call it a day, ladies and gentlemen. What incredible! Only 3 hours actually, so that's pretty much it's coming up as the average for these 2-leg flights. 3 hours. Oh, it is what it is. Can we get the menu up and perhaps put chocks on? No, we can't, which means we're going to have to hop back in. It's a bit of a pain, isn't it? If the developers watching, please allow us to put the chocks and the pizza covers on from the outside rather than using this menu. This is great, but I want to be able to do it outside rather than clicking this menu to put them back on again. Put all the covers. Fantastic. And the AKD Studios van turns up just in time. Au revoir, rich people. Have a fantastic Christmas. Au revoir, au revoir, and welcome to Santa Fe, everybody. A quite small airport. Probably a little bit too small for the Gulfstream 550. Maybe the Citation X would have been a better choice. But anyway, we got the Citation X coming up on the 5th of January. Or possibly a new aircraft. This has been a brilliant last flight. I really enjoyed it. It's just such a sunny day as well. So thank you kindly for joining me. Stay for the replay. I wish you all a very happy Christmas and New Year. And we'll continue in the new year with new planes and new adventures. Again, looking for suggestions on propeller aircraft, analog instrument aircraft. If you have any recommendations, comments are always going to be welcomed, and I will of course take them on board personally and seriously consider them, so they're not going to be thrown aside. Anyway guys, once again, thank you so much. Have a fantastic day, fantastic week, fantastic Christmas, and I'll see you in the new year. Stick around for the replay. Take care.